how's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eater. We got Myra here as well. And today we're talking about the difference between a shrimp tank and a fish tank, the pros, the cons. Why do I think it's so much easier to take care of shrimp tanks? Why I say I can leave the house for like 2 months, go not on vacation, but like aquarium shows and talks and do all these things and not exactly have to do water changes or much care on my shrimp tanks for like 2 months. Got to get back into the gear after 2 months, but I can't necessarily do that with fish. And I'll explain why and go over everything here. But more importantly, how is everybody doing? We've got Dr. Anthony in here. Mike's in here with a question right off the bat. Do shrimp have any regenerative properties? So off the top of my head, I want to say yes. They can grow back antenna and legs and stuff like that. I don't think they can regrow eyes and like some of their more important limbs and maybe like a half of a tail and stuff like that. They can't regrow, but I do believe that they can regrow, just like crawfish can regrow their pincher claws and stuff like that. I believe shrimp can as well. But don't quote me on that. I think that's a question better off for Google. We got Neptune's Lair, Jonathan G, 8-Bit Cuba, Dave O in the house. DD, how are you doing? Oh, can't forget Southwest Florida Aquatics. Scotty, how you doing? I think we got to get back to you on whether or not we want to go to the aquarium. We got to plan everything out. We don't have too much time after the show or after my talk anyways, but we do have some time beforehand. I think we're going to stop, possibly see what the Bloomfields are doing in North Carolina on the way up. But we'll have to figure all of that out on or in the next few days, I should say. How's it going, the Shrimp Father? Night Owl Aquatics, Tank Girl, how are you guys doing? Why would a shrimp only have one egg? Is that normal? So there's a couple things. It could be a first-time mom, and she's just a really bad mother, and her first clutch she kind of dumped and lost most of them, but it was able to hold on to just one. And then the other thing is sometimes there's just that one egg that takes a little extra time, so that way it can hatch. And sometimes one of the eggs just never comes to, and eventually it'll eat it. But I don't worry about it. It's happened before in the past for us many times, especially with like Caridina that are crossbred. Sometimes that last egg, it's usually like blue or black. And the reason for that, it's like a Taiwan bee. And those just do take a little, that can't be seen. Right. Those just take a tad bit longer to hatch than like the Thai bees and the crystals do out of the same clutches. Can you take her? I've got to go blow my nose. I lost my notes. There they go.
Hello, Richard. You already said hi to them, everybody. Phil, hello, and Mike. I think eggs are so expensive these days. Most new shrimp moms can only afford one or two. That's a good one. That is hilarious. He just left. No direction on where he's at or nothing. Right, Myra? And she ate some chicken noodle soup today, so that was a good step forward. Yes, clap your hands! Yay! Yeah. What do you gotta say? You got so much to say. You're so excited. I think our internet's not working. Hold on. Working. I don't know what's going on though.
The mic is working?
Slow. Yeah. It's working. Yeah.
Jeez. I wasn't sure if we had it all up or not. I'm
Well,
like,
the
did I do
internet's-
another live stream where the first 5 minutes of it was muted?
No.
Because that was all flawless. Like, I must say, you know what I mean? Y'all heard it, obviously.
No, just the internet's not been so great lately, so I thought it wasn't working.
It's the guys going around door to door. They're tampering with it.
Yeah.
So they use their internet.
Right.
I'm on to them. I'm not going to cave, though, anytime soon. All right. So we're all caught up in chat. Said hello to everybody. All right. Cheery on now. All right. So the first thing you think about when getting an aquarium is what size tank. And I think the best reference to get started with this is in my talk, I go with when you're starting with a tank that's smaller than 10 gallons, especially the smaller you get, what else is going to go in it besides like a shrimp? Like there's least killies. You could do a single least killies. There's clown killies. There's Chiles rasboras and, ember tetras, and it's very, very small fish that you could do maybe just one in a little tiny tank and it might be all right. But let's be honest, a shrimp is probably better off in that situation and a little bit more happier. So when it comes to tank size, if you're going for bigger, larger aquariums, and you're looking to fill it out, I think fish win. But if you have to go smaller, I think the shrimp win that one. And then overall, if you're looking over it as like a money factor, the shrimp are going to win there too because they're cheaper. You can get a 10-gallon tank and you can keep just about every single freshwater dwarf shrimp you want to keep. You cannot say the same thing with fish. You're going to need a lot larger tank if you want frontosa. You're going to need a lot larger tank if you want goldfish or koi or something like that. So in this category, I'm going to have to give it to the shrimp. When it comes to the size of the stand and the equipment and everything else like that, that's obviously going to scale up or down depending on the shrimp, or the size of the tank and what kind of shrimp or fish you're putting in there, right? But when it comes to space and affordability, I'm giving that category to the shrimp. But while we're talking about equipment, shrimp are very low bioload. There's not a lot of fish that I can think of that are as a low bioload as shrimp. Like, can you think of any low bioload fish? Can chat think of any low bioload fish?
I mean, killifish don't make that much of a mess compared to so all the smaller fish. But the only problem is usually the smaller the fish, the more you get. Like the chilies, you usually don't just get one. You get a few, so then you're feeding, then it becomes too messy. But killies fish to me don't move much. You don't have to feed them as much, so they don't create too much waste.
I think for this, I'm going to go, you can cycle a tank with just one fish. You can't really cycle a tank with just one shrimp, right? And if you're doing the fish method to cycle your tank, that is. But overall, I think most of the fish need more filtration than shrimp do. Almost every shrimp, again, that you want to keep can be kept with just a basic sponge filter and a little air pump, where there's a lot of fish, that you can keep on that as well. But Lucas keeps his the not Odessa barbs. What are the barbs that he keeps?
There's a lot of fish he keeps.
I know, but the one specific barb that he breeds.
The big ones that are in that huge slow boy?
He's got
They're
that
so
power
cool.
head pump in there every time he wants them to breed because they need a lot of flow. The mascara barbs. Thank you, Mike. Plus 1 point. When we get to Jeopardy next week, Mike just gets an extra point. That's bonus extra credit, Mike. No, it's definitely mascara. I'm going to have to subtract the point now and give it to Phil because you had said he'll trout. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, she's been starting that all week, and it's been quite a...
Getting so excited with
quite an entertainment.
She does this every time.
You scoot over. I think I'm taking most of the time.
Welcome in GNC Aquatics, Armadillo Lizard. I like that name. And Shrimp Sanctuary.
But I think overall, like Hillstream loaches, a lot of the plecos, they'll like a lot of high flow situations. So when it comes to the power bill, when it comes to the overall cost of expense, the shrimp are going to win that part. However, like I'm going to find a con for everything. Like I'm going to be completely fair to the fish keepers. Like I can't keep like an epic sand filter, or no, I probably could keep a sand filter or sand fall with shrimp still. But you can't really do one of the bigger water features or stuff like that in with a shrimp tank, because all of the shrimp will get sucked up into it. So like a good protein skimmer and stuff like that, you can't really do with a shrimp tank. You can perfectly do that with all the bigger fish, right? And polish your tank off a lot nicer if you're looking for like a pristine looking tank with a bunch of debris and stuff like that. You can still do that with fish, not necessarily with shrimp.
Welcome in, Larry D. GNC said, Grant, since the shrimp have such a small bioload, why so much water changes?
So it's not that you have to do so much water changes, right? 10%. I mean, we're going to get to this when we get to it. I'll talk about this more in depth, but it's really beneficial to replenish not just the minerals in the water and stuff like that, but also when you're doing a water change, you're dropping water into the tank, you're agitating the surface of the water. There's an increase of oxygen there. You're taking out dirty water and replacing with clean water, and that's going to increase the mood. You're also taking out pheromones and hormones that can build up in the water, and if those are in the water too heavily, it'll cause other shrimp not to breed. So when you're looking for optimal breeding, doing heavy water changes, doing frequent water changes, take a look at all of like the bigger major fish farms, the laboratories around the world. They're doing massive water changes, and that's for growth, that's for overall breeding, that's for baby survival rate and overall production. So it just carries over with shrimp. But I would argue with fish, you'd probably have to do more water changes than shrimp.
Welcome in, Craig. Hope you're doing okay.
Mike,
Blanky.
hold on. Mike said I can't spell. Don't worry, Mike. I can't spell either. Everything you spelled looked right to me.
Anky, member for 28 months. Thank you so much. Said any wood/rock combo you like to utilize the most?
So I kind of have like a particular enjoyment with the new honeycomb wood that's out and the dragonstone. The honeycomb looks like the dragonstone, so they complement each other very well. They go with one another perfectly, in my opinion. They don't alter the water parameters or anything like that either. So it's a safe recommendation to anybody out there. And there's not like a cooler looking wood or rock, in my opinion, either. So try to beat that. Shelby.
A cooler comment. No, I mean, like,
try
to
to
me,
beat it.
there is
Challenge
no.
you.
I mean, Dragonstone is a good, easy. I do like the honeycomb, but like Malaysian driftwood will always have my heart. To me, it just lasts so long in a tank.
I honestly thought you were going to
think
say
it's so
Manzanita
pretty.
wood, because your tank last year with the Dragonstone
so
and Manzanita, that's hard to beat that tank. The one you did for the booth at
that wasn't Manzanita wood.
What was that then?
It's like a tree. It's literally a shrub.
Oh, it was an
a whole
azalea.
shrub.
No.
We don't know. No one knows what it was. It was literally just a shrub. And it just happened to look like an entire tree. So it worked out.
People
cool.
do use azalea bushes as spiderwood.
Yeah, spiderwood, yeah. But a special thank you to Oinky.
She's not wearing it because of this little demon now.
I was going to explain that. I can't wear any jewelry. I try. And she already broke my necklace the other day. And she almost got this because I was so excited I put it on. But look at this cute bracelet. I'm trying to put it the right way. but it says the Garden of Eden. It's so cute. The colors are so pretty. She's just ripping out my hair now. But it is so cute. Thank you so much, Oinky. It means a lot to me to get something like this. I love jewelry.
The handmade,
when she's a little bit older, I'll be able to put it back on.
Anything that's handmade that's been given to us has been put up in the house.
Yeah.
We've got the little wood burning. We've got the paintings. So anything like that automatically goes up in the house, and then in the future videos and tour videos and stuff like that, people will get to check them out.
Yeah, it's so special. Thank you. Sorry,
I'm
like so sleepy.
Wood etch.
Yeah, a little keychain. Craig, Catfish Cave member for 28 months. Thank you so much. Hopefully that's your power is back on. Mike said Texas Holy Rock plus Cholo Wood personally.
Bro,
no, get out.
I love the Texas Holy Rock. Like that kind of disappeared. You don't see it a lot.
But
we've got 3 nice pieces out on the side of the house that I found when I was going through everything.
I can't.
But the cholla wood.
But that raises pH.
Banned. Cholla wood, automatic ban. No. Mods, take care of this guy for me, please. I'm just kidding.
So many of his streamers where they ban everybody. It's like every 2 minutes they're like, ban this person, get them out of here. It's hilarious. Yeah, we're not. I love cholla wood. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved it.
There's
when I
some
first
really
saw
cool
it. I was
pieces
like,
at
this is so cool.
Some
Can
big
I
pieces.
talk?
No. Yeah, you can talk.
It's so great for putting plants in.
Did you see
if
that
it didn't,
just kidding. That was the last time.
Crazy. If you, oh my god, I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
We were talking about
if it didn't deteriorate so fast, then I would have it all the time. That's the only reason I don't like it. And I do love the Texas Holy Rock, but that raises pH.
Did you see the really nice pieces?
That's the only reason that I would say
that Jason had?
No. Who's Jason? Oh, Jason.
The wood guy.
Oh, what was it, like 20 feet long?
They were
it's
not
like
20 feet
It's like
long,
a cactus.
Yeah, he had some big old honkers of pieces, though.
Welcome in, Jesse. Hello, J. Oliver.
Jesse's hustling to get the fish room done before June. And I think it's because we'll be there a couple days after June begins. By the way, if you're in the Pennsylvania area or near Bucks County whatsoever and want to come check it out, I am speaking on the 4th. Dang it, I should have these. I believe it's the 4th. I'm sure Jesse can let me know. But it's a Thursday. It's like the first Thursday of... I could figure that out.
Mike said, and you're stimulating rain somewhat, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know if that would affect shrimp at all, actually. I don't think that they would care like cory cats do. Like, a lot of fish don't even care about, like, the rain. If we were to drop the pH, too, because, like, when you think about rain, it's, it's like pure water going into the river. So if you drop the pH, it could affect all fish, I think, and shrimp. But
I think it's that the rain is just adding clean water. So when you're doing a water change, it's also clean water. And when the water is clean, the fish just know that their babies are going to have a higher chance of surviving. So they're more likely to waste their nutrients when it's rained or when you've done a water change rather than stalling out because you haven't. But not to say that they won't.
But he said shrimp's grades.
So it is June the 5th is my talk? I thought it was the 4th. I think it's the 5th. It's on our calendar.
You better make sure. Benny said shrimps graze consistently. Unlike fishes, they are fed once or twice a day. Shrimp consume small but frequently. When a bear tank is in use, you can see they do poop a lot. That's for sure. I do know. I just noticed that in just the bags alone. Shrimp and snails are both like constantly like that. Oliver said loves the shirt, Grant. Yeah, that shirt is so cool. I love when we get shirts like that. All right. Phil's got a.
It is the 5th. We're driving up the 4th. That's why I have the 4th in my brain.
Phil said, I understand that mixed bee tanks only breed bee shrimp, but will they breed true if separated out again?
All right, so it depends on what we're talking about, like true. All right, so mixed bee, if you do Taiwan bees and you want to separate out the blue bolts and then the red King Kongs, those are easy to get to breed true again. But the Taiwan bees as a whole, the shadows, the Mizuros, the bolts, the pandas, the King Kongs, all colors, all of them. If you breed those with one another, no matter what, you're going to get Taiwan bees. So the other thing is pulling out the crystals. The crystals will be Michelins. After that, crossing Michelins with Michelins and just over time pulling out the Taiwan bees, you'll eventually get just crystals. But then the other one is the pure lines. If you cross pure red lines in, you'll never be able to get the pure red lines back, or pure black lines, or pure white lines. They'll always be mixed crystals. However, there has to be some type of like amount of generations that you can go where they're just breeding pure blacks or crystal blacks or just reds, to call them pure again. But nobody's ever really gone like, hey, I've done this for 20 generations. In the last 18 generations, I haven't got red, so I'm going to call them pure red line or pure black lines. But yeah, the others, the Taiwan bees and the crystals, you can easily take back, separate them off, and get them to breed out true again.
That was a long-winded answer. And you know what sucks is I was trying to listen to that. It's one of these. It's this one. I was trying to listen to that because now I'm starting to get more bees in my room, and lost me after the first.
All the unpure ones, so don't worry about it.
I know.
I did tell you.
But my pandas were not unpure, were they? You suck.
They were, because you just wanted pandas because you put a panda in the tank. And
it's
was like,
so cute.
I gotta do it now, and I'm like,
pandas.
all of the pandas are like small and not pandas right now. So
welcome in, Lady Diane. Phil gifted 1 Garden of Eater membership. Thank you so much. She is just all over. If you did get gifted that Garden of Eater membership, make sure to email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com, your address and your YouTube name, so we can get that sent out to you. We are backlogged on those because I'm waiting on our stickers that have not come in for quite some time. So you will be getting like the full run of all of our stickers when I do ship it out. So sorry for the wait, whoever's still waiting. Craig said, Grant, Shelby needs an extra thick gold chain so the baby don't break it. Needs to be like a rope. Too bad I like really dainty necklaces. So I have 2 that I wear. One is specifically like my go-to is a jellyfish that I got since 1 year into our relationship from the aquarium. I normally don't ever take that off. The chain did break, and now it's just sitting in my dresser. And now it just happened to my other necklace, which I got for graduation. So. Southwest Florida, welcome in. Said, I set up a Caridina tank, Brightwell substrate. When added water, clouded up. Afraid when do water changes, it will cloud up again. Can I clean it before I add shrimp? Did you use something to stop it from hitting really hard? That's the only reason it should cloud up is if you were to fill it too fast.
And how long has it been running for? Because that shouldn't be cloudy at all after like the first day. Brightwell's not that dirty.
Yeah.
But if it's cloudy, like it has like a bacteria bloom, like grayish, maybe the Brightwell was dusty, and it's kind of like just clogged up your filter a little bit. Usually just cleaning out the filter will take care of that.
Like you said, where does Dragonstone get its infinite amount of dust from? It's almost like an intergalactic anomaly being beamed in from another dimension. That does what it does feel that way. So I've learned with Dragonstone, especially with all these competitions, that I kind of just leave it alone. I don't rinse. Like I'll rinse like smaller pieces, but like even the bigger pieces, I just kind of like put it in the tank and I slowly fill up the tank. I don't rinse the dragonwood or dragonstone anymore because there's so much clay in it. It's just gonna continuously like come out. It does take a long time to clean. I'm just here to see the baby admire her parents. She's more like trying to push away from us and just go now at this point. She don't care. She's like, let me go. I want to go.
She's army crawling really strong now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just some of the natural stuff that has holes in it. Yeah, the Madagascar lace plant is my favorite. That's why the cholla wood was also my favorite. I like that the pattern. It's just so cool to see something so natural have that cool pattern to it too. Johnny Best, thank you so much for gifting One Garden of Eden membership. It's your turn.
So if you got that membership, please email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com and email us your name and your YouTube title as well as your address, so that way we can send you an all-exclusive holographic TGOV shrimp sticker. We've got some other stickers on the way. I just checked that tracking number, and it's still not even updated yet. So hopefully it'll get on its way. The guy said there's a lot of packages that were heading out of that way. We saw our stickers already made and bundled up.
Yeah, in a box.
So
I don't understand what's taking so long.
And we had no issues the first time when we shipped with this guy. So and Harley uses them all the time, so I'm not worried about it. It's just I hope I get them before Pennsylvania would be awesome, or the Triple Crown.
Before Pennsylvania. Yeah, now. There's no way. Mike says, I think when you pour water in there's a vibration. Some animals respond to that vibe. Yeah, on the rain. Maybe. Probably is a reason. I don't think I've just... You know what? There is... When you do water changes, the shrimp do dance around the tank. But I don't know if that's because it's clean and like the pheromones are going off and you're spreading the pheromones everywhere. But...
Well, the next thing on my list is substrate. For Neocaridina, you can pretty much use any substrate that any fish is going to use. For Caridina, you are going to have to get specific. It is a little pricey to get into Caridina shrimp keeping when it comes to getting the aqua soil that you need to keep the pH down. So for the fish, there are a certain like cichlids that you have to buy, the cichlid substrate or crushed coral for. Same with the Sulawesi shrimp, so you kind of match there. Some of the quarries have to have like softer substrate, and you can't use like sharp gravel or something like that. So shrimp are kind of more versatile there. If you've already got some substrate, pretty much anything can go for Neocaridina. So it's versatile there, but if it's Caridina wise, you are going to spend a little extra money there. So I got to give that to the fish on that side. Hardscape, what? Just on the Caridina side, the Neos still win. Why are you looking at me
because
like
there's
that?
so many fish that need lower pH. That
there are some,
need that
but
same
very
substrate.
few. Almost all the fish, even discus, have been converted over where you can't do that with this shrimp.
Yeah.
So, not yet at least. Then you've got hardscape. Again, there's certain hardscapes that you can't use for Caridina shrimp. There's certain hardscapes, though, that you can't use for fish because they're too sharp and too pokey. So the Neocaridina kind of win when it comes to hardscape and decking out your tank. There's really nothing that you can put into your tank other than like chunks of copper and stuff like that. That would not be good. But yeah, not good at all. But when it comes to, why are you so out of frame? You're so far over there
I don't
today.
want to move.
All right. But when it comes to like just being able to deck out your aquarium, I feel like there's nothing that you can put more in the tank and then keep shrimp with it. So when it comes to hardscape, I got to give it to shrimp because when we put like massive amounts of rocks in the tanks and people at the show are like, what are you going to put in there? And it's like, oh, I keep shrimp. And then they're like, oh, you got me, dude. Like, that would be a great shrimp tank. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Like, are you going to put shrimp in it? I'm like, no, I blasted this thing with full of activator and all the stuff that would not be good for shrimp. So even though it all says it's safe for
So far,
shrimp,
they're safe.
Whenever we do it at shows, though, there's always losses. So I try not to do anything like that at shows anymore.
That's because their water's all over the
it.
place.
We had success in a couple of them, but if we do aqua soil only and RO water and mix our own water, like the Caridina shrimp are always been fine at shows, but it's the activator with the neocardinas that have been a little iffy.
Yeah. I need to plug the light back in. It's driving me crazy. The kids plugged it into something else.
And then when you got additives, with salt water, they really take the hit the highest with having to dose. Like dosing pumps in the industry really only exist because of salt water. There are some hardcore freshwater planted tank, high tech, auto dosing, different type of fertilizers, and that's kind of just too much for me. You can't really do too much of that with a shrimp tank. There are people out there that have it, but they're not breeding out thousands and thousands of shrimp, and their colonies tend to crash every now and then. Not all of them, but most of the ones that are keeping fish and shrimp into their high-tech planted aquariums either over gas or over fertilize every once in a while. It just happens, right? With fish, though, there's some fish that you need to add certain medicines for when you receive them. With shrimp, if you're just buying home bred, you really don't have to worry about quarantine. You don't have to worry about getting too much of issues into your tanks as long as they come from a trusted source. But when you have fish, there's all sorts of dewormers, the chance of ick. So there's some people that do a regimen of different fish meds and stuff like that just periodically, and that can add up. And the medicine cabinet for a fish tank is going to be a lot bigger than for your shrimp tank. For the shrimp tank, you need some cure, you need some aquachar, and that's pretty much it. Some Indian almond leaves, maybe. For fish, you've got issues with parasites, you've got issues with fungal issues, you've got issues with ick, you've got all different things that you might have issues with from your local pet store or something like that, that you just know, I have to have this medicine in my fish cabinet for it. So I give the shrimp the win on additives. They just don't need them. There's just not much you have to do for your shrimp other than feed them every other day and do your water changes. Other than that, they don't need anything.
Welcome in, Dr. Anthony and Rosie. Rosie said, hello, baby is so cute. Is she a redhead? She's the only one that might potentially become a redhead. It's pretty blonde. Grant and me were both blondes. But she is also
about 3, and then I was red.
Really pale. So we're kind of thinking maybe. I know she's a baby, but we've been outside like every single day. Like I was walking her to the bus stop, and I mean, both my other kids weren't this pale as kids, so she's got her daddy's eyebrows, so maybe she inherited his hair somehow. But Not really sure, because I don't have redheads on my side, and usually the genetics work that way. So it doesn't mean, like, maybe one of my ancestors 1,000 years ago had red hair. So we'll see. We'll find out. Will you be adding anything to the website? Welcome in Fish Capades. Before June 2nd or whenever the deadline is for BCAS group buy.
I don't think we're going to be adding anything to the website. If anything, we're going to be taking a few things off. The only thing that I could possibly have, and that I might add, is I have a bunch of dirty Taiwan bees. I don't know what to call them, but some of them come out with some pinto traits. Some of them just broken up patterns. I was told that they were pure Taiwan bees when I got the colonies, bred them out one generation later, and I can tell that they're not. I've got tanks of these things, so I definitely need to sell them. I just don't know what to sell them as. So if you're looking for some phenotype of Taiwan bee or the double shadow pigments or some mixed pintos, I can definitely do some of those. Maybe green emeralds. Should we add a green emeralds onto the website? You're the new Carradina breeder, Shelby.
That's not something I would be adding to the website. That'd be something if someone specifically from the club wanted, we can bring.
So you heard it from her.
On the website, they're going to be gone
the source
within a day. So
you heard it from the source.
That one would have to be. You could reach out to us, and we could see how many. I just sold quite a few at the last show, but Mike said, "I'm just wondering with so many tanks, how often do you get leaks or breaks?"
Oh man, this question comes up more than I like. Comes up more than I get leaks. But the last leak that we had was 2 years ago, Keystone Clash, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the 55.
Yeah, our 55 gallon
which
tank.
We had those for.
That was one of our oldest
years.
tanks.
It was like one of our first tanks.
I bought that tank from Messina out of the 3 tanks that we bought for $105. All of them fully furnished with lights, filters, Cory cats, plecos, guppies, crips, Anubias, driftwood. It was a hell of a deal, and that tank lasted up until 2023 Keystone Clash. So November of 2023 was our last week. Prior to that, maybe a 10-gallon tank here or there.
I keep forgetting you went to the Keystone Clash.
Yeah, sorry. But then also our 190-gallon tank spewed out. And the 190-gallon tank, when that blew, that was like no more used tanks. So Aquarium, your tanks have held up, and I think that's why Petco got rid of you, because people were rebuying tanks because they were lasting way longer than their warranty even. And yeah, I mean, these tanks are great.
Yeah, they only have like a 5-year warranty, and I know some of these are at least 10 years.
Aquarium, sponsor us. I'll put your little scrubbies on all of the tanks. I need them. Save me. Aquarium, #Aquarium, save TGOE.
DD, member for 35 months. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Said, I can't imagine handling that many tanks. Kudos.
Hold on. Don't take that down. I'm going to take a picture of this, and I'm going to send it to Sam. I'll be like, bro, Sam. I'm going to say Sam while I'm taking the picture. Hold on. Sam. All right. I read my lips, you know?
You're weird. Yeah, your daddy's weird. Thank you so much, Dee Dee. Yeah, sometimes they definitely get too much. I think that's why we kind of slowed down, and I haven't been adding any shrimp to my rack because it's not that we can't take care of the tank. It's okay. It's not that there's too many tanks. It's because of our RO system, because we decided we wanted to change it, and we shouldn't have.
Hold on now. They are replacing the main water line next to our road. that
I don't
has
believe
to
that's the
be
issue.
affecting our water. I've talked to 3 other people who said they had the same thing happen to them last year
It's
here in
annoying.
Florida, and their water
Yeah, I
pressure
guess
was
they are
down.
working on it,
So,
it's
and
getting
not
on the
only
last
that,
nerves.
Shelby, but can you or can you not confirm what is sinking the road
Yeah.
in front of our house
I mean,
also?
we can't confirm it,
But
sneaking suspicion.
I'd say we're losing water pressure.
For sure. You're right. It's driving us crazy. We can't get back up on our water changes because the RO system isn't
It's going
pumping
so
out
slow.
enough.
And Shelby for like a few weeks was like, Grant, hook it up to the hose. We took it off the hose because Richard, lovely Richard Reynolds, came to the house, helped me get the water. I forgot I had to get the plumber to put on the new things before Richard could help. But we got the sink hooked up for the RO unit, so everything's nice and everything's good to go and no leaks. And guess what? No pressure. So Shelby was like, run it through the hose again, because we were running it just fine, just having a hose. But I don't like having a hose connected to the RO system. It's just not quality
Sounds like a
control, having
nightmare,
to
yeah.
walk all the way around the house too. So
I just feel like, we had it hooked up for so long, but what if it ever came off and just like flooded our entire garage? I know you flooded it with the RO system, but
I just flooded it bad because I thought I had it on there tight enough, and then no, the hose freaking cranked out, and there's a little spigot. And by the time I walked all the way around to get to it, I was like, oh, there's a puddle, and then I had to walk. I'm running at this point to turn it off. So yeah, it was
have a good night, Lady Diane. Southwest Florida said, what soil do you recommend for Caradina?
So the soil that I would recommend the most is the Brightwell Substrate.
Yeah.
It's done us the best over the years. I talk about how you have to make sure that you get a really fresh bag, but if you're not getting like quality bag and it's causing a lot of dust in your tank, then that might be why it's cloudy.
Like you said, is baby Myra the most talkative of your beautiful babies at her current age? She seems to have a lot to say. Can't wait to hear her first words. Have no doubt it'll be Mama, Dada, and Caradina. She's already saying Mama, especially when she gets upset. She has not talked on the live stream, which is funny. She says Mama. She definitely says Dada. She says Hey. Hey. She did it today when we were at what is that place called? Where were we at? CC's.
Oh yeah.
CC's. She turns around and there's a guy eating, and she goes,
Oh, no.
Hey.
No, this guy was massive. Oh, a different guy, right? There's a different guy. She's like, oh! Like she couldn't believe there's somebody that big.
He was tall.
Oh man. He was also massive.
But no, Layla was very talkative. I have videos of her.
I'd say Myra was more talkative though.
I would say
earlier on.
No.
I don't know.
Layla said Mom way clearer and way sooner. Myra,
I think it's just because she was struggling between Mom and Dad. But she was always chattering.
Yeah.
She's been chattering way earlier on, I thought. Like, just not saying actual words, though.
Yeah. Layla didn't just chatter. I think she is maybe she is the most talkative.
But
just blah, 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 blah.
We've got
She's
comments
like
that from club members that have seen Layla from Tampa Bay Club and Myra at this club. So
yeah, that's Layla was saying. She said it so clear, like Mama, and then I have a video that says I need Dad. Like I play it every year still. It's so cute. Thank you, Facebook. Back to you.
All right, so then we got plants. And this one, I got to give it to the shrimp all day. If you just plant a tank, set up a really nice planted tank, and don't touch the roots or anything like that, the shrimp are going to win. There's so many plants that you can do in shrimp tanks that do really well with shrimp. But if there's aquascape where you're trying to gas it and you're trying to rearrange things and whatnot, then I give it to the fish. It's like some fuzz that just took off. I don't know. There's two things. You thought it was like a fly or something,
like
right?
a bug. That was so weird.
I found something today that was like a little balled up. It was from like her crafting supplies, but I thought it was a beetle. And I'm like, oh my god, they flew home. They followed us from Texas because there's beetles everywhere in Dallas. And or I was like, oh man, it's like a hitchhiker, right? And I grabbed it and I was like, oh, what is this? But I was like, if I thought it was a beetle, Layla's gonna think it's a beetle. So I was like, here, Layla, take this. And I dropped it. I was like, have a beetle. And then she's like, ah, freaked out. And then she's like, hold on a second. This isn't a beetle. I was like, gotcha. That's great. But back to plants.
You know how annoying it is to live with Grant just by that sentence.
But when you're thinking about cichlids, there's not a lot of cichlids. There's discus, angels, and rams and stuff like that you can keep plants with, right? But Africans, you're not going to be able to keep plants. Maybe some anubias. So that's where the shrimp thing. But I think plants are one of the best things to keep with your shrimp. Yes, we have macroalgae.
Sorry, I didn't know you were stopping. Yeah, did I hear you say on the stream you have macros? Yes, we have an entire pond full of them. They're doing pretty decent, but if we don't get that RO system going, they will not do good. So hopefully we can get that going and get a good water change on them before we leave for the trip.
Or just enough rain.
That's driving me crazy. Yeah,
rain would be great.
We haven't had any rain in this area. It's like it keeps telling us it's like a 70% chance of rain, and it like goes right around our entire city. So it's getting really frustrating. Like plants are it's so dry this year. So like plants are not doing well that I have to like go out and water that are, natives, like that should just be fine. So it's crazy.
Well, the macroalgae has an algae issue. As crazy as that sounds.
Oh, does it?
Oh, yes.
No, that's a brown. It's a different algae. I've already talked about it.
I've
already taken it out multiple times. All you do is take it off. It just comes off. It's a biofilm for saltwater.
I don't want it though.
I know it looks really unsightly, but it just blows like right off of everything. It's just because the pond is still like in its cycling mode. It takes a lot longer.
I want to buy
for
a bunch of
this
snails
large.
and crabs that eat
yes,
it.
we need the snails.
Give me an army of invertebrates. Shelby doesn't like all my voices. They don't all like her though, so it's okay. Some of them are really mean to her. Like my normal voice, really vicious to her.
But we're hoping that we do get a lot more and we're able to sell them. We'll have to get a saltwater license and everything for those when we get a chance. Thank you everyone for mentioning to hit that like button. Don't forget. Larry D said, I am weird. I clean everything before it goes in my tanks. No, that's a great method. A lot of people are just lazy and don't do that, like me. I think that one of the biggest debates here too between the shrimp to the fish is just like so much. When you're doing freshwater, I feel like everyone that does freshwater, they want the cheaper option for everything. Because, yes, I love saltwater, but, like, I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend the money on something that I might kill. I don't want to spend the money on the lights. I don't want to spend the money on the setups. Everything just seems a little bit more expensive for something, especially if you're first getting into it. So, the freshwater...
I want the Ferrari,
yeah.
But I don't want to buy the Ferrari.
So
Gift me the Ferrari, and I take care of the Ferrari.
Freshwater is always easier. But I do think that shrimp typically, especially for beginners, would be an easier option and cheaper in the long run because you're having like a whole colony, something that lively fills up the tank. You don't have to add a lot to them, but, there's a lot of things you could say about that. But I love fish. Fish will always be my first love for the aquarium, for sure. Like I didn't go see a shrimp back in the day, but like that's because they probably weren't at the store or out when I would go somewhere and go, oh, I want this, like I might have, but they're just not as, cool as the.
Where's the turtle?
It's in the bedroom. But not as cool as like Oscars. Like, how can you deny Oscars are so cool? Thread fins are really pretty and peaceful. Piggy and plushy. That's funny. Yeah, Piggy.
Is that my Stewart voice? No, I don't think I did my Stewart voice.
I was like, what I could do?
Oh,
it was close enough. It was pretty close. No, that was some weird accent you did.
Yeah.
That one was weird.
No. All right,
no, yeah, he's got a pretty good Stewart impression though, because we've done that all the time. I think that was one of the first shows we had like discussed together. Grant doesn't remember much from like movies or TV shows, so like I reference things all the time, and I sound probably mentally insane to Grant all the time because he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "You don't know that movie?" But that was one thing he always got is when I did make look what I could do.
I know a lot of Mad TV and Dave Chappelle and stuff like that because that's what was playing while I was playing Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and RuneScape and just not doing anything with my life, right? But with the topic, right? We have tank mates. I think fish are going to win this category. Overall, most fish are more compatible with other fish. If they are compatible with shrimp, then that's a point for both, and that should just be canceled out either way, right? But the amount of snails and other things that you can keep with fish that you can't keep with shrimp, there's just way more. So when it comes to tank mates and compatibility, I think that's one in the win column for fish. The shrimp have been quite dominant. I think they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different groupings now of shrimp versus fish points. And the tank mates, though, I got to give it to the fish all day.
I don't think you're allowed to make this joke anymore. Man, MTV would have been canceled back in the day. But that was one of my favorite lines as a kid. He looked like a man. I butchered that really bad, but that was one of the best. Phil said, "Are there any cool phenotypes in back crossing orange eye yellow King Kong with orange eye blue tiger?"
Yeah, so you can also add in like a little bit of orange tangerine tiger, and this is how you make your greens. You can also should be able to make the yellow tigers off of these, but you'd have to add in maybe something else to get anything other than those 3 things. So,
or if you breed them long enough, like if you use the rusty orange eye blue tigers, I think you could make some really cool yellow tigers with a rusty back.
I think that would be like a mutation, though. I don't think that's
so
just
cool.
a crossover as easy as it would be. But that would be awesome.
I love discussing trying to cross different shrimp together. That's what I want to do with my room a little bit. Is like some of the tanks definitely do some weird crosses and see if they work.
And then the next one on my list is a lid. Most shrimp tanks just benefit from having a lid, but also all fish tanks benefit also from having a lid. There's some fish tanks, right, where you at least need a good gap with like an air pump in it. You can't just have it cut off to where there's no room for the fish to breathe, like the bettas and the other labyrinth breathers. But there's some fish, though, that you absolutely have to have a lid for. And that also saying there's a lot of tanks that shrimp will climb out of also. So this one might be a tie. I just think everything would probably benefit with an enclosed setup one way or another.
Yeah, most of them. If it's not water changes and top offs. She is something else tonight. She is wearing me out. I don't know how much longer I can take.
Try putting in her a walker, maybe? She'll enjoy it. She hasn't been in her walker very much at all.
Ooh, those yellow shrimp.
I put her up to the shrimp and up there, and she got really excited and clapped for one of them. And then we have water change and maintenance, and I think this is where a lot of people are wondering what's going on. Why are we even doing the water changes? We talked about it briefly before. With shrimp tanks, it's minerals, it's hormones and pheromones, it's replenishing water. Even though there's not a lot of pollution in the shrimp water itself, they still need a water change. 10% every week is more than enough. Maintenance-wise, with shrimp tanks, we clean the front of the tank just the same as we do for our fish tanks. We keep everything so that way we can just view it, take photos. All the fronts of all the glasses are clean just for that reason. But none of them really need that. It's not something that either one of them absolutely have to have. But the water change system that we do, I change the same for Shelby's fish tanks, and that I do for the shrimp. But I do find that because we feed the fish a lot more, some fish need to be fed every single day. Some of them need to be fed 2 or 3 times a day. Me and Shelby were talking about this earlier. There's a guy in our club. He's the first person in the United States to breed the hairy pufferfish. They're a freshwater puffer. And they're so hard to breed because the babies, their metabolism is so fast that they have to feed like every 2 to 4 hours. I can't remember what it was. But he was literally having to wake up in the middle of the night, run down, and feed his pufferfish so that they wouldn't starve to death. You don't have to do that with shrimp. You can feed your shrimp every other day. You can feed your shrimp every week. You can feed them every other month if you have the right setup and there's enough biofilm and stuff, and you don't have a lot of shrimp. You're not going for breeding or anything like that. And you're not going to stunt your colony or anything like that. You can't do that with fish. There isn't any fish out there that I know of that if you go that long without feeding them, that they're not going to have bent spine issues or some other deformities or just overall stunted and will never get to their full potential because they were starved of prime nutrition for so long. So when it comes down to water changes and maintenance, I think the shrimp are actually less than fish, especially when we go on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Welcome in, Mexicali, Running Water, and EJ said, didn't I send you an email with pictures of my orange-eyed blues that my blue jelly were throwing? Still can't breed them true, but I do have more now. That's pretty cool. I don't think we ever looked at it close enough to really look at it.
It wasn't. I thought whatever picture he sent, we pulled it up on live. I remember looking at it. Wait, was it Phil?
No. EJ.
I don't know if we did an EJ. No, the one that we did was Jay's Nano Aquarium.
I don't think we brought up EJ's. I think we couldn't see it good enough. It was the only issue. Can you hold her for a minute?
I'll try.
I'm in the wrong email.
The last thing on my list, and coming up to the hour, perfect topic, we have the light. With shrimp, I do think that lights are a requirement if you're going for color. The pigment, the skin tone, everything like that, it is just like ours, where if we go out into the sun and we get a tan from the sun, we're going to look darker. The shrimp are going to have the same effect under a light. It's why we have the lights run on the shrimp contest overnight when we first get the shrimp. It's because the shrimp look better at the end of the day than they do when they first turn on the lights. And it takes a while for them to warm up, especially Bloody Marys. They can look blue or purple in the morning. A lot of fish will have the same effect, but there's fish that you can keep just fine without lights, no problem, and they're not going to dull out and lose all of their color. But I do think that most tanks are going to want a light, but I got to give this one to the fish. There are some fish out there that you can breed and have really nice numbers, really nice color, and just use daylight and even like blacking out tanks and stuff like that for the tetras and stuff. Some of those Amazon fish, they don't really need light at all. For the deep water frontosas and stuff.
Welcome in Zen Ginger, Ross, and Jody. Running Water said 20 to 30 shrimp should be plenty to start off a colony. Yes.
Yeah, we recommend 1 to 2 shrimp per gallon, but the more the merrier. That 1 to 2 shrimp is like a minimum that we recommend.
Welcome in Fish Capades. I can't remember if I said hi or not. Craig, I need to catch around 100 fry after wish me luck catches them. Good luck. That sounds terrible. Another thing, I don't have to catch the fry for shrimp.
The shrimp are so much easier to catch. That's another topic or category that I didn't have on, but for sure, going in at nighttime with a spotlight trying to snipe the fish isn't even a guarantee. You know what is a guarantee? Putting out a piece of food and luring out your shrimp and getting them with a shrimp net. There's not been a single time where I haven't been able to catch a shrimp. There's been times where, I might have to move around a moss or a filter or something like that to find them. But other than that, it's so much easier to get shrimp than it is fish.
Sin Ginger, member for 36 months.
Dang it, I got a new picture to take.
3 years. Said also, hi Myra. And woohoo, 3 years. 3 years. We've been streaming for 3 years. That's insane. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Welcome in, Stephen P. Oh man, we gotta get them gifts out. We still have the print, and we're trying to come up with a good idea. I do like the idea of like towels. I know a lot of people said that was pretty useful, and they would like that. So we have been looking into that. I'm trying to find like a good reasonable towel. I hate microfibers. Like I hate the feelings. But there's one that's Aqualand. What's it? Aquarium. What does that blue one say with the gold lettering on it? It's like my favorite rag that we ever have. I gotta go get it. You gotta hold it.
Not quite sure. I see.
Oh, that was a rip.
She's not mad at you. It's not your fault. Yeah, she said it too. How's it going, Stephen P? And then we've got him at 33 months at Zen Got Me Beat. She's getting tired. She gets like this whenever she gets tired. She gets really rambunctious. She kind of wears herself out and then crashes out and falls asleep. I figured it out. And then we've got Night Owl Aquatics right behind Stephen P. Really appreciate all of your guys' support. Got the studio done this week, all painted. Tanks are all in the right spot. All the hardscapes all in the right spot. There is a lot of hardscape supplies. There's a lot of old aquarium supplies and everything like that. And we need like a swap meet. I saw Brandon from I Wet My Plants had like a garage sale. I think we should have like one of those like on a Saturday where there's
after the meeting.
After the meeting, everybody can come by, maybe do a walk through the house, and we'll have all of the stuff outside the house. The amount of filters and tanks that we just don't have the room to set up for and the time to escape them. Like in a perfect world, we'd like to take all of the aquariums that we have in the garage, use the hardscape that we have, do a little scape tank, bring it to a show, sell it at a show. But the problem is our room in the car is very limited, and there's been quite a few shows where the tanks just didn't sell, or there's been some really low ball offers, and we're like, oh, we'll wait for something better, and then that person was gone, so we should have taken the low ball offer, but didn't. So I don't know. Might just be better off selling the tanks. Try her in the walker.
I'm about to just leave.
Why not try her in the walker? I'm telling you, she's trying to tire herself out.
She's tired.
Yeah.
She wants to go to sleep. Not in the walker.
But the room is done, so I've got to get a bunch of the tanks that were fish tanks, collecting tanks and stuff like that, stocked with new Neocaridina, and get them ready for the winter time. And then Jenna asked if I'm still entering. No, Shelby got mad when I was saying I'm using her tank. I guess I didn't ask for permission, and she didn't hear me when I was talking.
Tank. He has like 6 other tanks he could use. He wants to use mine in particular.
Because it was the right depth and big enough to do the dimensions that I wanted to do it. We talked about it. And I'm not going to go smaller with the big pieces of wood and have to cut the wood. And I didn't want to rush it.
If anyone could ever find these somewhere that I could get them for a good price, these are the best rags I've ever seen. And I've tried finding them everywhere, and I can't seem to find them. I looked at the tag when we got a brand new one. It didn't tell me. It just has live aquaria on it, and they sell them like whole price. I'm not paying like $20 per little rags. They are really worth it though. They have these by like the bunches at shows all the time. I haven't seen them at shows lately, but they were coming like first like few Aquashellas, and we like loaded up on them, and out of like
they're a saltwater company too, so they might just have them on the saltwater side. But I do know at the last Aquashella nobody had rags, because there's somebody that's like, I collect rags at each one of the shows, and nobody has them. And I saw somebody had one from Seachem. I don't think you can just get that rag. You have to spin the wheel, and if you land on that rag, you get the rag. So just keep going through the Seachem line until you get the rag. But it's not a rag either. It's like a microfiber cloth.
Yeah,
only.
But it's like a nice microfiber cloth that's not like a pain, and it doesn't feel weird like some of them do.
Oh, I think it feels weird on a different scale.
No, this one's nice.
Oh, that one's nice.
This one's nice.
I thought you were talking about
microfiber. I hate
Seachems.
Oh, Seachem, yeah, theirs is too thin. I like it. It's fine.
It's a really nice microcloth, but it's a weird texture.
Yeah.
But a different.
To me, it's more for like just
ones.
cleaning glass.
It's not like
that's what I would use that one for. Yeah. Weird. This one at least cleans up a lot of water. It's not. It's soft
That's
and
what you
gentle
want
on the glass.
to be.
This is what you want ShamWow to be, and it. But apparently ShamWow, I don't know if you've ever seen. There's like commercials where people are talking about how everyone thinks that they've had a ShamWow, but they haven't had a legit ShamWow, and that's why it doesn't pick up any water. It's like a knockoff that you get for cheaper. And they do like commercials now where they're like, this is the ShamWow you guys think you're using, and this is actually ShamWow. And then they use them, and you can tell like one clearly does not pick up any water at all.
I can't believe Dustin made like 20 mil for doing that.
He should really play off of that.
He has.
Okay.
I give him props to that. The ShamWow guy is like 60 years old.
And he's still got time. He's just using every excuse in the world now.
I don't think I have time.
You have 4 days. You technically have
make a deal
multiple
with you.
hours.
You get all the orders out tomorrow, I'll skate. Ball's in your court now.
Someone please come get him. You're annoying. He's just trying to use me as an excuse. Oh yeah, you guys are on vacation still, aren't you? Hope you're enjoying vacation.
Six Flags.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just got home. Had lots of fun, but glad to be home. Yeah, probably exhausted. Oh, nice. Living Dream said, I believe Live Aquaria got bought out by the same people who bought Bulgur Supply. Oh, man. Well, maybe then I have a connection and be able to ask her if she can find out where they got them. Because I'm telling you, if you have had one of these, they are the best rags. I remember talking to someone else about this, and they were like, those are the best rags ever. The only ones I really like to use.
I think it was Richard's wife. I think Cynthia was saying. I don't know.
Back to you.
I don't have anything on my list. I was just talking about the studio's done. It's so long for us to build up water. I added a sprinkler to the ponds outside. We got all of the plants planted and taken care of from the Aquashella show. So all of like the stems and everything that didn't sell, we made it into little pots or tubs out back. So if we get better weather this year, it'd be great. But every other morning, I've been going out and running the sprinkler and having to move that though, just to keep all the plants nice and healthy. The red root floaters don't like my watering method very much, but it's too hard to sit out there and water each one of the plants. It's actually really hot. I don't understand why today it was scorching hot. There was barely any wind or anything going on, and it was just brutally hot today compared to any other day. So the poor plants, they need some watering.
Oh.
Today.
I didn't even step foot outside today. We've been a little bit under the weather this week. But I'm glad it's happening now and not when we need to travel. So it does help. Stephen P. said, no, they skipped Six Flags and went to an indoor adventure park with climbing and archery and whatnot. That's cool. Why doesn't ours have archery? Ugh, that's cool. I love indoors so much better. It's so hot. And especially you guys are in Texas. It had to be pretty hot. Or if you didn't go to Texas, then, I mean, anywhere is really hot right now. Like you said, is there any shrimp that you have found to be most challenging with their breeding requirements?
Like the most challenging shrimp for us to breed is by far the Sulawesi shrimp. Just maintaining their proper temperature, the hardness of the water, everything like that. Their tank setup in the very beginning, it's on par with the Caridina because you have to buy special substrate, special rock, special minerals. You need the RO filter, everything like that, and they're so sensitive. So the Sulawesi are definitely that shrimp. But on top of that, I don't trust that.
She's not that
the thing to fall. Please move it. But the Babolti, we were talking to somebody at the last show that really wanted them. They're interested in those and a bunch of other wild type shrimp. And for whatever reason, like if you look up the requirements and the Babolti shrimp online, it says that they should be one of the easiest shrimp to breed, that they can breed in hard and soft water. And they've been around since I first got in the hobby. And to this day, not a single person has been able to get a whole entire colony of them going and breeding. There's like a few people in the United States that have the purple zebra ones going for a little bit, but their colony crashed or died out. I don't know of anybody that has a successful colony going now. We've had the green ones going for a few years. However, I never get enough that I can sell. I do the same care to all the other shrimp on that top rack. There's some blue steels. Blue steels, blue bolts on the other side, some boas, some red tigers, some super crystal blacks, and some pure red lines, all on the same row. All of the other tanks do well with the exact same treatment. The Baboltis, however, they're just like breeding enough to replace the ones that die off. if I started with 12, I might have 18 right now. Like, if I got any improvement in numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had 10 in that tank, or if I had less than that. I thought, or there could be way more on the other side too, because the last time I thought maybe the tank was crashing, I moved the big chunk of moss in that tank, and literally all the shrimp came out of the woodworks, and there's bolties all over the place. Yeah, you're pretty happy in that walker, aren't you? Yeah, she loves to be mobile. She's scooting around now in that walker pretty well, and she's starting to stand up. I had her stand on the stream earlier. As long as she's got something to hold on to, she can stand up and hold herself up now all by herself and balance it out. If you could be a, I don't know. Oh, if you could be any. If you could be a Johnny Appleseed, why can I not read? For any fish, shrimp, or plant, what species would it be? You first.
Why me first? I don't even know what Johnny Appleseed is.
Because that's why. I'm not familiar with Johnny Appleseed. I think fairy tales kind of died off before my generation hit. But
no, that was like a thing. I just don't. Johnny Appleseed was not like a popular one for us. So I'm assuming you. Yeah, I don't know.
Like the guy that curated and saved all of the seeds and invented new varieties or anything like that, it would just be Carragina shrimp, I guess.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain, so we had a backup plan, but it was 98 and sunny all day, so it was God decided indoor activity. Yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds way too hot. It's already hot here, so an axe throwing joint with the fish fin would be cool. They should make one right next to the clash for us. I want one of the destroy rooms, so that would be fun for me.
I can just set something up for you in the backyard.
That sounds great.
I got you.
She's trying to get out of that thing.
No.
I've never had. She is trying to get out. She is trying to get out. Yeah, she's like, you caught me.
She's happier over there, though, than on stream, so.
Yeah. Is there a market for orange-eyed blue neos? I thought they looked interesting, so I've been trying to breed.
Yeah, I mean, I would need to see the picture, and you did send them.
I can't blow it up.
So
you're not gonna be able to see your
So
old.
here's the thing. Those are really cool shrimp. The red one has like a nice gold backline on it, but they're not. I don't see an orange eye in this shrimp. It's like golden around the edges, which is it's just something that you can work on and get more and more of them to breed out.
Start to it, though. Maybe that's how they did it in the first place.
That's on the red one. Your blue, that like red around the blue, that's kind of normal. Like a lot of blues have that. Like to me, the pupil has to be a special color. If the pupil's black, it's nothing special to me, and I've been culling those out of my colonies for a while.
Orange eyes are in the neo world right now. They still have a black pupil, but they're orange. So maybe let's have some hope here instead of someone who wants to just be all negative and crush hopes.
What was that dude's name?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because I'm going to show you his shrimp compared to the shrimp that I just saw from EJ compared to the shrimp that Jay has.
The guy with the orange eyes?
Yes.
I don't know.
All right. Another day, we'll talk about orange-eyed Neocaridina.
I don't remember.
Or maybe we'll just talk about orange eyes on a live stream because I'm pretty sure I can talk about crossing them and hollow eyes and different varieties and stuff like that too.
Michael Hasslier.
But did you have pictures of them right there that I could have just looked at instead of?
Sorry. Phil said, I find my patio ponds have about 20 swing daily. I feel like that's too much variation for the Neos. What are your thoughts? 20.
All right, but look at these ones. It's like a deeper, darker gold on the inside. It's still not black.
They're still black.
It's not.
It's still black. That's
I mean, it's darker.
Black.
It's darker, but compared to.
Are you gonna show everyone else the picture?
I feel like that's where it can start from. It's hard to do. Maybe it can start from that. Somewhere. Yeah, it can definitely start from that, but you also try feeding it a bunch of chitin, and maybe that'll bring out the orange in the eye. Because I know a lot of the
like the German breeder that's how they look, which it still has. Like it's hard to tell, a little black in the pupil, but that's the orange you'd be looking for. Where yours, I can't blow up, but let's see. Blue, green, red. You can probably just Google it and find some.
Yeah.
Like this is Flip's page. That's kind of what they look like.
And that's
like
that's
they still
pretty
have
common
like an
with
amber
culls.
Color to them.
Well, you notice that shrimp doesn't have a lot of color onto
Yeah.
it, so it happens a lot with the lower culls.
So we're not sure how that guy's getting orange and whether it's true. There's people that are still saying that it's in the, shrimp competition in Germany, but this is also another shrimp. So it's a little bit more common. It's not technically orange. And yours look a little lighter. So that's one of like the biggest debates that's been going on lately too. Like I just had a full-on conversation with Grant about orange eyes too. And how we would potentially do that when we've been breeding thousands upon thousands of shrimp. And, this person's probably only been breeding. They say they've only been breeding since 2020. So to be able to develop such a deep orange eye neocaridina in only 5 years' time still seems astronomical to me. So still trying to figure that out. But can we figure this out with the patio ponds have a 20 swing daily? Is that too much variation for the neos? What are your thoughts? I don't know if it would.
All right, so here's one of the things that you've got to check because
degrees.
Is that just the top of the water or the bottom of the water? Because I've had this debate with some people also, right? Because my ponds that I have the filtration going on, it's circulating in the water. The top of the water, when we catch our shrimp and you run your hands through, all right, it's the same temperature all the way through, right? However, our rice fish tubs that I have on our pool deck, 180-gallon tub of water, you touch the surface of the water and it's like bath water. It is warm. But you go down just 4 inches, not even, and it's cold. It's cooler. And that's where like almost all the fish are hanging out. So you got to figure out what temperature is swinging. Is it that top layer of the water? Do you have enough current to mix everything up? But if there's that much swing and they're in direct sun, maybe shading them. But 20 degrees sounds like a lot.
So Mike said Johnny Appleseed went around planting apple trees everywhere, allegedly. So if you could spread a species all over the world without, which would it be? Ignore the environmental impact, though.
See, I was automatically thinking about the environmental. Before Shelby got to there, I was like, "Oh, hold on now." Probably ladybugs.
I like ladybugs, but gosh, I would not want them everywhere. Honestly,
ladybugs, hummingbirds. They're things that I find very pleasant.
I feel like you only find them pleasant when they're not around. So like hummingbirds, could you imagine? They're gonna be like pestier than bees if you had them everywhere and they were all around and you're like, oh my gosh, just please go away.
In Colorado, they weren't like that.
I know they were beautiful.
They were everywhere, and it wasn't like that at all. So
yeah, that was a really hard one for me. Like I enjoy the fact that that things are in their area and you get to go to that area. I would love to absolutely be able to bring more species back to life, or back from the brink of extinction. That would be lovely. That's what I would want to do. Is like, be able to have more areas that are, like a whole continent without people on it would be great. Like
Mangoes.
Man, I sound awful saying that, but like an entire continent, just all animals, and you can go visit it. It's like a giant
stuff
zoo.
I want won't survive in most of the places.
Yeah, you're thinking all these plants. Lychee in your yard.
Lychee, mango.
Yes, Clash Rage Room. We should start. I wish I had like a trailer, then I would just start collecting like plates from Goodwill and everything. Even Goodwill is like crazy now, so I'd probably just go to the dollar store.
We'll just figure out whatever room Scotty has.
Oh my gosh. The Clash storage room could be Rage Room if you get there early. That's funny. Today Axler, tomorrow skydiving, the day after tomorrow walking on the wings of the biplane, LA Tom Cruise. That's so funny. I'm gonna skip out on the skydiving though. I'll meet back up for another day. I'm not walking on the wings. That's too crazy. I did, however, wanted to do the flying squirrel suit, and then I realized that like has a higher death rate than skydiving. So I was like, maybe not. It looks fun though. I don't know why that to me looks safer than jumping out of a plane. Because like to me, I don't know why. It's definitely not safer. It's definitely way more dangerous to go like face first into a concrete.
I think it's safer if you just had nothing around.
Right, that's an airplane. Skydiving for you. That's what I feel like. It's cooler to go in, but like
I meant to like glide just off the rip all the way down. Right?
Yeah. See, to me, that's
people die cool. Because they're all like, "Look at me, cliff diving! Watch, I'm gonna go in," and then it's like that's why. There's some people that do. I love those videos. Like I watch the crap out of those videos.
So no black people, solid orange, green, and so. Yeah, that one's really hard. We're going to have to get like good macro shots of eyeballs to kind of like go through, because we also have like the blue eyes. But to me, we have the blue eyes. They kind of look swollen. They look like they have like their eyes are decaying or like cataracts. It's gross as could be. A lot of them have it, and it's probably not cataracts, but say it is a genetic mutation and it is cataracts, and they can't actually see. Like they look freaky to me.
I just put this back up. Don't you take it away now. I will also say this though. If you had your eyes like pumpkin orange, like way brighter orange, fluorescent neon orange, then that's a little bit something more to work with also. But like right now you're just like borderline. Like it's worth working on, but you're not there to brag about anything yet, because what you have is honestly what I think. If you bred 1,000 Neocaridina shrimp of any color, there'd be some that have that eye just naturally.
Only been trying this for the past year. Yeah. I mean, if you focus on something, I feel like it could be done. But I've just never seen like an actual orange eye. I'm thinking you still need a parachute for the squirrel suit, right? Yeah, they do. But I don't know what it is about the plane. It's just the plane. Lillian did a free fall activity from several stories up at Adventure Park, and I don't know where she got that Daredevil spirit from, because I don't have it. I feel like an Adventure Park is a little bit safer, so like maybe I feel like my daughter would instantly, like she wouldn't even question it. I would turn my back and Layla would be up there, and I wouldn't even get a chance to stop her. This one too. I'm worried about this one being a little daredevil.
Layla dared me to ride the skateboard down the road today. And mind you, we were on a pretty steep hill. We live in Spring Hill, all right? It's so hilly here in Florida.
We're on the only hill in Spring Hill.
But it is pretty steep at our part of the hill. And I went about halfway before I was like, I'm picking up way too much speed. I'm not built for this, and it's live stream night. We don't got time for the emergency room if I really wreck. So I bailed, wimped out.
All I said as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's funny." But then again, I don't think we'll make it to the live stream if Grant tries to do that. Oh man, nothing's funnier than when I tried, and Grant missed this completely too. For some reason, I thought I could still do a cartwheel. Haven't done one in like 10 years. And I was like, yeah, I've gained like a whole 100 pounds. I can still do a cartwheel. Who cares? Almost face planted into concrete. And I knew my limits now. So I would have loved to have been the stunt woman, laced up in ballet point shoes as much as possible while performing the stunts, of course. That's so cool. I do think stunt work is awesome. If I was an actress, I would want to do my own stunts for sure. Yes, wingsuits have parachutes. Zen said I would totally do it indoor skydiving in the air tube with a buddy. Yeah, see that one's fun. I think that one's perfectly safe because like even if you fall, it's only like 10 or 12 feet. I'm surviving. Like I couldn't do one from indoor skydiving. That would be fun. I think I would. You would hate that probably altogether. No, it's not a falling feeling though.
I mean, if I go too far up, I'm definitely gonna want to go down slower and then but yeah.
I'm gonna pull the lever, Kronk.
It'd probably be similar to jumping on a trampoline. That hurt. And I'm fine going on trampolines. That's not a problem. It's like having something pulling me down. I can jump from trees too. That's not a problem either.
She's distracting me, crashing into the sun. Mike says, what information on shrimp do you personally wish you knew more about or were more familiar with?
I would say the anatomy, like knowing the different body parts. There's always some old timer that's like trying to stump me at every single one of my talks, pretty much.
Scotty's in the chat.
And
Alishon might be watching. They're gonna get you.
And they always ask me a biology question about anatomy, and I don't care enough. I wish I knew my Latin terminology a lot more.
Latin. To me, I think that's what I would want. In general, just fish keeping. It doesn't matter so much on the shrimp side, although it should. It doesn't. Like most people don't refer to them, they just don't care enough. But on fish side, you definitely need to know the Latin names to most of the fish, or else you're just not going to keep up.
That's probably it. Everything else I'm pretty much good on. Some of the newer genetics and stuff like that, I think it's just a matter of time of figuring it out. But I don't think there's anything like really new. I just crossbreeding and selective breeding and stuff like that. It's pretty blatant at this point for me.
Like you said, first time I went to Spring Hill, visited my family on Porsche Place Road. I was shocked. The occasional elevation, very usual for Florida, awfully natural, just slightly below. Yeah, there's like no hills. They're usually man-made. Any of the hills around here, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our hills are actually man-made. What was that one in front of the airport? What is that one? Like a bunker or something, or it's like a bomb?
No, that was a target for bombs when they were practicing for the World War.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mike says, have you ever had a problem with a bully shrimp that was uncommonly aggressive towards the others?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did we name him?
Frank Castro.
We named him Frank Castro.
I think that's the guy that's the Punisher.
He got his own tank.
Frank murdered a lot of his tank.
We just
mates.
happened to be watching The Punisher, and I swear it was like, you know, maybe it was watching it. It was like, all right, I'm gonna go kill everything now.
And we tried several times to give it a tank mate, and every single time it wouldn't take long either. We'd come back in the tank, and the other shrimp would be like ripped in half.
That's so mean. I don't know. We haven't really had any shrimp like that since.
And so I took that shrimp and put him into our really small Denarly tank, and that was like the jail tank. And that shrimp lived off the rest of his life. Lonely, but happy, I would say.
It. What was Frank's problem? Bad childhood?
I have no idea, but yeah, he went after all the other
he was
shrimp.
just aggressive. I don't know. I feel like some shrimp might still have wild tendencies in them. Like when I tell you that raccoon are more savagely, like they really do eat crazy. Like I feel like wild shrimp are literally wild. They're crazier. They're so maybe that one specifically had a little bit more of the wild genetics in it and was more hungry, and it's just crazy.
All right, these two comments right here, right? Those were the freaking Machiobrachium that we caught in Miami because we caught a bunch of these peacock bass, and we put some Machiobrachium in the same bucket, and the Machiobrachium devoured all of the peacock bass. The shrimp just not devoured, like ate them all, but like ate their stomachs, and like dead fish everywhere. And I didn't think the shrimp would do that. I separated some of the smaller shrimp from the fish because I was like, oh, they're gonna eat them. It was the other way around.
I had one ghost shrimp that bullied everybody. Yeah, a mono shrimp will do that. Like a lot of people are always recommending a mono shrimp with like cherries and stuff, and they work sometimes, and they work if you feed the tank enough. Like if you're an overfeeder, that'd be fine. But if you're not feeding the tank enough, a mono shrimp can tear a red cherry or anything up to shreds. Like they are mean shrimp. I like them, but they're really wild. Yeah. They just you are crazy. She is like running full speed in this and not going anywhere.
This is perfect for her.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. She's clapping. Oh man. She's making me tired. I'm still so exhausted. I think I'm done for the night.
All right, yeah. I think chat's kind of dying off. We try to go for an hour on the topic, and then we kind of just let things sizzle out. We're all caught up in chat. I think it's a good time to end it. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you, everybody, for watching, hitting that like button. We've got Phil with the gifted sub, Johnny with the gifted sub. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, you're scrolling like there's more. But yeah, you guys appreciate that. Maybe we do Jeopardy next week with some of the information that I talked about in the last few weeks' topics. But we'll figure that out. I gotta see. Maybe we gotta get to bed early that night because we'll be driving the next day up to Pennsylvania, putting together all those logistics still. So you guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks. Have a good night.